welcome to Ring Talk, episode 16. This week we haven't got Steve Goodwin with us, but we've got the spawn of Goodwin, young Josh. How you doing?
Good, busy, getting ready for the shows on the third attempt, so...
Yeah, so you've got those coming up, we're going to discuss them in a little while. Steve's out seeing gyms, I think, isn't he? And
yeah, he's meeting some new trainers, building his friendship base.
Yeah, so he's always got these things on the go, isn't he? Meeting up with, making new links.
His work ethic and it's unbelievable. I don't know how he does it, honestly. It's crazy. He's financial advisor full time as well, so plus managing 100 boxes is crazy.
Yeah, it is. So on a Tuesday evening, he's down in Croydon somewhere, seeing a new gym and meeting new people. How much of that rubs off on you then? As a son of Steve, do you feel pressured to keep up that work ethic, or?
I think when I first started working for him, I didn't fully appreciate it, but now I've got a bit older and a bit more mature, I've started to understand and realise what he actually does and how much I need to work harder to match it. So it's starting to rub off now, but not when I was a bit younger.
I think all youngsters, to be fair, probably don't appreciate how much their dads do at home as well, and your mum at home.
That's 100% true.
Yeah. So Josh, are you still the youngest promoter in the world? I don't know what
the world, I'm not sure. In the UK, I don't think there's anyone younger than me with a promoter's licence.
So at one point you were, weren't you? Certainly or at least you touted yourself as the youngest promoter in the world.
It was good promo stuff.
Yeah. But certainly the youngest UK-based boxing promoter. So we're going to run through some of the questions we've got for Josh later on, but prior to that, we're not going to go through the new signings and new fights, because I think that's Steve's kind of repertoire, isn't it? It's
might get better.
So we can save those up for next week. But we will look forward to the show you got coming up this Saturday at your call. Give people details about it before we delve too far.
A great show by Ryan. We've got Justin Menzie versus Robert Asagba, top of the bill for a challenge belt. It's a great crossroads fight, to be honest. Justin's getting on a bit. Robert's still up and coming. He lost not that long ago on a Sky show, so he's still rebuilding, but it's a great 50-50 fight.
We were just chatting before we went on it. I love watching Justin Menzie.
Aggressive. He's just big punching southpaw, isn't he?
Yeah, like he's so squat for the weight, and like he's so dense is probably the best word for him. And when he gets in there, he's just a little bit unhinged. That he goes in and like there are punches at all angles. For the first 2 or 3 rounds, it must be a nightmare for any opponent to try and work out.
Yeah, I've done some sparring with Justin a few years ago before when I was an amateur, and obviously me being Steve's son, everyone always takes it easy on me. But I could tell
Justin.
I could tell Justin was not 100. He wasn't going 100% on me, but I could tell he was loading up those punches more than most others.
I'd imagine he doesn't give a shit. He'll go for it. But I enjoy watching Justin. He reminds me of like a wasp.
Yeah.
It'll just buzz around you, and like it must be so hard because he's quite a lot smaller than other lads at his weight. He's awkward.
I think it'd be the first time he's actually got down to actual welterweight. He's always fought a super welterweight, middleweight. So I think that was one of the big factors against Diego. I think Diego was just that little bit too big for him in the end.
Yeah. So what other fighters you got? Deion Jumah is making his return this Saturday.
Every single person you speak to about Deion Jumah who aren't even associated with him but know him are saying he's going to be a world champion. So I've never actually seen him fight before. I've seen him train and spar. Yeah. But I'm expecting big things, and I'm definitely one to watch out for.
So that's a bit of an added bonus for anyone coming down to this, because he was kind of an almost late addition.
Yeah, he's signed by the Saudis before, starting with my dad and having his first fight with my dad, so I think anyone watching him could be watching a future world champion, so it could be a bit of a privilege.
Well, there you go. Make sure you're down there for it. What other fighters are out? There's Duane Sinclair.
Yeah, Duane Sinclair.
Who constantly improving, Duane Sinclair. Andy tells me he's going to change his entrance music this Saturday, so all the best with that, Duane.
Oh, he's in a great camp. He spars Joshua Boyatty all the time, so and he's improving every fight. It's definitely shows.
Every single fight. I think I've said it before. He was the most improved Goodwin fighter for me last year.
Yeah, 100%.
I just think he's come on leaps and bounds, and he's so tall and like just rangy fighter.
He's a big lightweight,
and he can hit as well, can't he? That Hay show that he was on last time out.
It was funny when he came backstage and went, Jesus Christ, that guy hits hard, and he's one who stopped him in the round or two. He said, "Be careful you put that boy in with." So I take that into consideration. But yeah, he's definitely improving, Duane.
Yeah. Anyone else that people should keep an eye out for on?
Brandon Ball fighting James Spate.
Oh, is he?
So Brandon's second fight, fighting former two-weight Southern Area champion. Yeah. So fair play for Brandon taking that fight.
No, I know a lot of people like Brandon as
Smith trains him, very confident. So yeah, that should be an interesting fight.
Yeah. Who else on the card is it? Bradley Smith this weekend, or was that next weekend?
I think that's next weekend.
Yeah. Making his return after some well-publicised issues he's had.
Preparation for that, what he's gone through must be tough. I've never been through it myself, but speaking to people who've been in the same sort of situation, it's mentally draining. Even to get the ring is unbelievable. So well done.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I've always enjoyed watching Bradley from his debut. I remember your dad telling me upstairs in the offices once, he said he's a TV fighter.
If he stays in the gym, keeps fit, he's going to go very far, definitely.
Yeah. So anyone else this Saturday then that people should be aware of?
We've got Jack Hughes, Sammy Cantwell. I think them two could be potential opponents maybe in the future.
Oh, really? So there aren't that many lads around that way, are there? So
that's nothing been agreed, but I just can't see how them two won't fight each other if they both win. So eventually.
Yeah. I mean, there aren't enough lads around that weight to kind of find other opponents, are there? Ultimately, Bradley Spence will be making his debut as well.
Yeah, out the Barry O'Connell gym, I think probably the busiest professional gym.
Yeah, State of Mind.
I think there must be about 10 to 15 pros in there now.
Yeah, and a lot of them around the same weight as well, isn't they? Bradley coming in somewhere around welter to middle.
Super middle at the moment. He's going to come down to about, I think when I spoke to him the other day, super welterweight. So
right.
Yeah, you've got obviously John McDonnell, Deion Jumah does some of his training there. You got Jack Hughes does his training there.
Jamali Camaro, Dean Richardson,
Dan Keenan, Dan Azaxo, Hamid Siddiqui. I'm sure there's someone missing as well.
Yeah.
So
Brian Barry did a brilliant job bringing lads through down there. So yeah, I mean it's going to be a busy card, isn't it, on Saturday as well?
I think 18 fights at the moment, so starting at 4:15, half 4. I think Ryan's still got to confirm that, but it's going to be a good long show.
And then the week after that, because I mean you lot must be busy at the moment upstairs in the office, getting all the tickets sorted, making sure opponents don't drop out when they do, come up with a plan B, all those things that you've got to do for Saturday, and then come Sunday you've got to do it all again for the following week.
I prefer it when it's one after the other because you've got pretty much. You do the same thing within every fight week, so you've done it one week and
so it's fresh.
Yeah, it's a reset basically. So, and you also got some stuff ready to go again instead of digging it out and stuff like that. So I prefer it.
So what's your role then come the build up, so the fight week?
Like most promoters will, I'll help out on the day, be troubleshoot around the front area, sometimes the backstage as well. I'm obviously a promoter as well, but I'm starting to get my financial stuff, so within the next 9 months I'll be a mortgage advisor. Anyone want a mortgage, come see me.
Come to Josh.
And hopefully 3-4 years I'll be a qualified financial advisor. So.
Okay, so you're currently doing your masters, aren't you?
Yeah.
In financial advising?
Yeah, that's it, that's really hard. I'm done this for 4 years. So.
Just before you went off on holiday, we were chatting, and you were dreading the studying.
Got my first exam book now, so the pressure's on.
So is there again a pressure because that's your old man's forte to go into that and be a success at it?
I think my dad has high expectations of me, so I've got to try and meet that.
But in terms of the boxing then, because on fight nights people that go down to a Goodwin show will see you buzzing around front desk, sorting out tickets, letting people in, buzzing around the show, going backstage, helping bits out. I mean, presumably it's a fairly busy event. Like you don't get to sit and just watch a handful of fights.
I'll probably see the last 3-4 fights of the show when it's all gone quiet everywhere else. But other than that, I'm usually running around doing something.
And then we're going to go into the card the week after next week, I think. Okay, Prosper's had an injury.
Yeah. And really obviously it was a great fight. Nathan's coming down from welterweight to super lightweight, and he'd be a huge super lightweight, so it'll be interesting to see whether the size would make a big difference and with Cage Power would take over. But it's one of those things. Hopefully get rearranged for May, but we'll see.
And there's Ollie Pattison fighting for his first belt.
Yes, we've done an interview with his opponent at the beginning of this week, and he had some bold statements, so that's really amazing.
Was he going to knock Ollie out, wasn't he? I think it was...
he says he's going to give him a beat down, I think it was, and destroy him, so that's really made it spiced. I think Ollie got a bit angry over it, so I think it'll be interesting. I think Ollie's never had this before, so be interested to see how he handles it.
I think Ollie needs that fire in his belly. The times that I watch him, he's such a technically lovely boxer to watch, but sometimes you want to see that extra 20% of spite come out of his hands that he doesn't necessarily bring every time.
I think he's too nice sometimes.
Yeah, and he's a lovely guy outside the ring as well.
He couldn't meet anyone nicer, so I think maybe if this opponent brings out the spitefulness in him, it could be a good thing. So.
Yeah, I think I've always wanted to see that out of him, and I'm sure it's there somewhere.
I think on the 10th you could finally see it. So
right, okay, so we'll look more at the 10th next week. We're going to go on to questions. I've been out and about today, so I've not been near a printer, so we're going to have to get by with questions off of my phone because I'm a real professional at that. So we'll start off with a question from CM Sports Agency, so Colin up north. Watch the last 2 episodes. And episode 15, the North versus South question idea of boxers would work for him. Maybe for boxers who have had 5 or less fights, where if in the South, home boxers sell tickets, and then in the North, the boxer gets the purse and vice versa in the North. How do you feel you could work it without TV? If you could.
I personally don't. I think it's a great idea in principle, but you need some sort of sponsorship or TV money behind it to make it work. Ticket sales alone won't pay the boxers enough to go in fights like that. Yeah, in my opinion. Colin works for a sports agency. Get onto it, Colin. Always open to ideas, I'm sure, and if he can bring forward someone who would fund it. It's a shame. That's the sort of stuff that's missing from boxing, but unless you have the money behind it, it just won't work, unfortunately. Yeah, question from my friend Rika. We've got 2. To Josh, what's the most challenging aspect of building a career in boxing when your father is such a well-known figure in the sport? I think the main issue would probably be people want to speak to my dad rather than me sometimes, but I think as I'm getting older, I think people are starting to not do that more. So do you get that when they ring up and say, can I speak with Steve? But as I've been getting older again and stuff like that, it's becoming less and less and less, and so that's probably one of the biggest issues. So is that a matter of respect almost that people? Probably, because I think most people in the managers, trainers in their 30s, 40s, 50s, trying to speak to an 18-year-old probably think, who the hell was he? What am I talking to him? Type of thing. So. But it's definitely not like it used to be. It's getting better. Has that changed? For those that don't know, has it changed since you went in the ring yourself? Josh is a 1-0 professional, now retired, undefeated, TBE, greatest of all time. Yeah, I mean that's a bit far-fetched, but with boxers, I definitely found it's a good talking point. I think they see a level of respect there, and I think he's done it fair play, because I did do amateurs, but obviously I've done 12 weeks. So I was meant to fight in December, I got injured, then fought in March, but there's basically 4 months of dieting and training, and everyone around me would say I was horrible. Well, I went out to Latvia with you at the time, and fair play, because everybody out there was getting pissed, drinking, eating what they wanted, whereas you were very, very strict. I remember chatting with Kev, as in Kev Campion from Goodwin, and he was saying Josh doesn't deserve plaudits for it, because this is what he's chosen to do, and as harsh as that is, it's a reality, isn't it? It's people saying, Josh, you're doing brilliantly sticking to it, but ultimately that was what you chose to do, and fair play for sticking to it. It was hard seeing everyone drink beer and eat food, and I was me just eating chicken and rice, chicken salad. Would you do it again, or are you definitely out? If I could not do the dieting and just train. Well, you're getting it heavy. I'd get knocked down in 2 seconds. But no, I like my food too much, as you can tell. But I saw how you trained for that as well, because I was trained there. So you trained hard. And I was getting up in the mornings before work, training in my lunch break often, then going down to Essex sometimes 2-3 nights a week as well with you. So no, it wasn't like it was a soft touch because of who you were. It was a legit training camp fight. Another one. I mean, this is on a really sad subject for the sport. On the back of the death of Scott Westgarth at the weekend from the Doncaster show. So, firstly, commiserations to the family and all those involved, and Dex Spellman and everybody, Steffi Ball. Just a horrible thing, isn't it? It's absolutely devastating. I remember I started watching the stream just as he was getting interviewed. Right. And it's weird to think then I think about half an hour or 40 minutes later that the show had been cancelled. And then obviously the next day or the day after he got announced he passed away. It was just heartbreaking. It just puts into perspective what what boxing is. So it's just
because that interview's like watching it back now, it's beautiful. He's sat on the side of the ring and he's just saying, I'll fight anyone, like I just do it for the love, I do it for the entertainment, I like bringing these fans the entertainment on a Saturday night. And to watch that back, and there's a really touching tribute by his old man on Facebook as well today, which he's put out, which basically saying, you know, like he was just a son that everybody would have wanted, and he was fantastic at what he did, and you know, his memories stick with him, which hopefully did. But going on to the question from Riku, have this week's tragic events made your involvement in boxing, or if you could do more to safeguard fighters? Have the events made your involvement in boxing, I guess he means questionable, or if you could do more to safeguard fighters?
Hasn't put me out wanting to be in boxing. I think boxing overall is good for 95% of people. I think the amount of people it's probably saved lives, stop people going to jail, getting into gangs and stuff like that. It's a great sport, but it's just one of those things that sometimes happens. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But in terms of boxer safety, I think the British Boxing Board of Control, as far as I'm aware, are probably one of the best, if not the best in the world. I'm not a medical expert, but the only thing I can see they could do extra is maybe more than once a year brain scans, but sometimes they happen in the actual fights. They say a lot of the injuries in boxing is down to people making weight. Maybe they need to be a bit more strict on weight crashing, but they already do check weighing. But
they do for title fights, they don't for all fights. But that was an English title limit.
Yeah, so they'd have been check weighing for that.
But yeah, I mean, there's so many things that potentially could be done. Some have zero costs, some have costs attributed to them. But the board do a good job on the whole.
They do a great job. You've got the best doctors ringside, you've got the paramedics sitting there ready to go. So.
Yeah, I've been on one of your shows where it was delayed the start by, about an hour, because the anaesthetist was delayed getting across London.
You can't start without them. If they fall ill in the ring, they can get put to coma straight away. So
I'd say as much as a frustration for everybody sat there saying, first fight was meant to be at 4 o'clock or whatever, the safety and the safeguarding of the fighters is a priority throughout.
Yeah, overall, from where I sit, then I can't see much more, unless technology improves, that we can do at the moment to improve the safety of the sport. I think I read an article, I think from 1996 to 2012 there was no deaths, and I think since then it's been 3. Yeah. So
I think it is unfortunate it's happened relatively so soon after the Mike Tower incident.
I was there from when Michael Norgrove sadly passed away as well. I was actually at that fight. That did really upset me and bother me, and did make me debate about boxing. Yeah,
fantastic book out there, by the way. Elliot Wurzel, Dog Grounds. For anyone that has an interest in that side of it, he catches up with fighters years on, those that have been through that and have had an opponent die post-fight.
Yeah.
He catches up with some of those fighters around the world, America, Mexico. It's a fascinating book. But yeah, if anyone out there is interested in it, Elliot Wurzel, Dog Grounds. Slightly lighter note from Yeston. Does your dad still make your lunches?
No, I make his.
Do ya?
It's like me and my mum now, because I'm trying to eat healthy at the moment, so I'll go and cook him something good as well.
Is that on the back of the cruise?
Yes, I put on a lot of weight.
Question from John Bailey. Does your dad ever pull seniority over decisions?
Decisions regarding my promotional stuff, no. But obviously his managerial stuff and his promotional stuff, of course he does.
Do you ever get involved, I mean obviously not as a manager, but do you ever give your advice and your thoughts to your dad when he's talking about potential signings or what route he should go with fighters?
Majority of the time he always asks my opinion on matching this fight with that fighter, or should I sign this person, or what should I do here? And 99 times out of 100 he'll ask my opinion. So
it's a group effort.
Yeah, and Kevin as well. So.
Question from Mikey at Analyse Boxing. I'm glad your dad's not here. Thoughts on Joe Gallagher, and is he ring trainer of the year standard?
It's controversial to my dad, but on paper he's got to be down as one of the most successful mountain champions he's actually had. But me as a boxer, would I get trained by him? No chance.
Fair enough. I think that's very down the middle. Andy Killick, when's Steve going to do a show in Luton? Top talent in the area. There is some top talent in there. You've got Kay, you've got Linus, Michael Devine, A.D. Burden's out of Aylesbury, Bicester way.
Tom Ansell, I think Bedford.
Is he?
Yeah, originally. But maybe another one come down next week that's local as well.
Right.
But we need the right venue and a couple more fighters, because obviously if you have not enough fighters, the pressure on tickets is even huge. So if one fight pulls out, the show might have to be pulled.
Yeah.
So, but we just need a few more fighters in the right venue, then we can do it.
So. You're not ruling it out?
I think there'll be one, if not this year, next year.
Okay. Another question from Andy. Linus Udofia versus Lee Markham, English Eliminator in the summer. More of a statement than a question, Andy. But
that's a great fight, but I think Linus should be going for the southern area first before worrying about anything above that.
So you've got coming up the Lynn-Jones versus MH Leg down on the south coast in Bournemouth. So you've obviously got Brad in an eliminator coming up, and then you've got Linus kind of eyeing that up.
I think Linus beats both of them easy. I think the winner of Brad and Diego beats both of them easy. So I think we'll definitely have my dad will definitely have the southern area champion out that way by the end of the year. So.
All right, fair one. But not Lee Markham yet.
Oh, I think Lee Markham's a bit above southern area at the moment. But once I think they've got aim for the southern area first and the English after.
Cool. Another question from Colin at CM Sports Agencies. Would you do shows in other areas of the UK, maybe with other promoters?
Potentially. We've done shows in Portsmouth, and then there's no reason why we wouldn't go to other areas, but we've just got to get the right people around us and stuff like that. So it's hard. It's
got to be the right people, the right promoters, because there are some people out there you wouldn't want to work with for whatever reason.
You wouldn't want to work with them, rather would. So.
Yeah, and it must be hard to filter out as much as you know, because there are good ones. There are very good ones. Yeah. So Mo Pryor's a nice guy. Steffi Ball's brilliant up in Doncaster. Yeah, Carl Greaves. There are plenty out there that are, through the sport, are decent people with good intentions. But it must be hard to knit together the idea of getting a show together.
Everyone likes the idea of having their own patch in boxing, so if you start treading on their toes, people can get upset.
Yeah. We've got a final question here from Jordan Foster at Portobello PR. Hello mate, cracking podcast this week, which was to me from our podcast.
That was very good.
Was it? Okay, I don't want to.
Apart from the first 2 minutes was no sound, I couldn't work that out, but other than that.
Was it 2 minutes? I've not listened to it. We completely screwed it up, but I'll tell you about that elsewhere. Thank you, Jordan. What's the toughest thing Josh has faced as a young boxing promoter? That's the first part.
Toughest part? The interview process to get my promoter's license.
Was it? How hard is that for anyone at home that doesn't quite understand the rigours of getting a promoter's license?
There's a lot to know, and Mickey Carlier, Dennis Gilmart on the other side. I think I was up there for 45 minutes, and at the end of it, when I'd done it, I've changed it slightly now, but it was a long table in this really long room. There was all them at the top, and there's like me, 18, just sitting there like this, like shaking a little bit.
And predominantly they're older guys. I know Dennis isn't.
Yeah, but Dennis is in his 30s, and then I think the rest are a bit older than that.
Yeah, so some 18-year-old kid that's a little ragamuffin that's walked up here.
Yeah, putting on my baggy suit at the time, probably. But yeah, that was the hardest thing I've done.
Do you think they treated you maybe even harder because you were Steve's son and you were 18?
Potentially, because I was in there for a long time. Yes. From other people I know, from a promoter's license. So yeah, it was a good experience.
Good. Final question again from Jordan. Is there anything that you would do differently if you were starting out again in boxing?
No.
No? You're happy with how it's all gone?
Yeah. Can't say I'll change anything personally.
But I think you're quite lucky, aren't you, that you've got Kevin that you work alongside, who's experienced in, through training, through matchmaking, through promoting, through multifaceted skill set, and then your dad, who's he's been involved in boxing for
7 years now, I think. 8 years it'd be this year.
Yeah, so it's a great couple of people that you can.
Yeah, from the start I was always in and around it, stuff like that, like helping out. But as obviously when I left school and actually started working, got more involved. But yeah, it's definitely been good to learn off them too. So
excellent. So that's all the questions we've gone through. Steve is probably back next week. We'll have to find out according to his diary. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed having the change of seeing Josh here. If you're down at York Hall, you'll see him buzzing about by the ticket area and all around the show on Saturday. Doors are at 4:30ish.
3:45 doors. First fight 4:15, 4:30.
Okay, so people keep an eye out on the Goodwin Boxing social media platforms for further details.
Yeah.
And that's it. So thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you again next week. And have a good week.